1906. She broke in with Babe Dietrichs and Zaharias, did she not? I mean, this woman's been on the women's international team forever.
I beat China all the time.
I'm listening to a bunch of analysis. I think they had a panel on ESPN that included Herm Edwards and Caitlyn Jenner.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
I don't know. Lubie is the Dellavedova of local radio. I don't know. Can you sense that from just your experience with him?
I can. He's your hard hitter. He's the guy you bring in to change up the show. And
yeah.
Create a few fouls. It's okay. It's Lubie. We'll let that go. I get it.
The time. Wake up with DeFo, joined by Lubie and Chris here on 940 Winz Miami Sports.
I'm a classic man. You can be me when you look this clean. I'm a classic man.
Oh, beautiful Tuesday morning in South Florida. Good morning, everybody. Jump to first, ready 940 Winz Miami Sports. Good to be back. I see the smiling face of one Mike Lubitz. And, of course, young Chris. Young Chris did me a solid there on my birthday. Came by the party, and a gift card Dunkin' Donuts. Very appropriate, my friend. Very thoughtful. Very useful. I almost felt guilty having the woman swipe my card today for my extra-large coffee, cream, and 3 sugars. Otherwise, they dump like 20 sugars in there. I mean, as great as the coffee is, why put an entire country's gross national product worth of sugar cane in there and run it like that? But anyway, good to be back, and good to have you with us. We'll take you up until 10 o'clock today. You can dial us up anytime at 866-801-0940 on the phone lines if you'd like to join us here on the show. And, of course, we stream live video now, and we're trying a bold experiment again today with the boys from SportsStreamNetwork.com. We're very thoughtful in bringing an NBA bottle of straight-up whiskey. I mean, just hardcore stuff, right? This is Timmy Hardaway sipping a little Hennessy after a rough season with the Miami Heat. And you can catch us live now, and there's an experiment here that may include live shots of Lubie and Chris on the program. So that's very exciting for us. I noticed Lubie did his hair. He wants to get a hairdresser credit up on the screen so that he won't have to pay for haircuts anymore, which I think is only appropriate, right? Wherever you can glam off if you're on this job, whether it's free food in the press box, which even that has kind of gone by the wayside. But anyway, lots of stuff going on. The most commonly asked question, I had a few days off there, which is unusual for me. Actually, we squeezed in a Saturday show in what otherwise would have been a 4-day spectacular of rest and relaxation. And I think the key word there, I'm not sure which one was stronger, rest or relaxation, because we got a lot of both R&R over the last couple of days. And that comes along with the territory with sleep deprivation, which is what we deal with. It's the only negative of the job, is a mild dose of sleep deprivation. You can always sleep later on in the day, but you feel like a schmank when you're out cold. I mean, even at 64, right? Sleeping from 1 hour. What time did I go to sleep? Man, I've only been sleeping like an hour, man. No, it's been 5. And you're sitting there needing a standing 8 count when you get up, and you're already ready to go back to bed. That's the way this thing works. You guys know of what I speak. If you're up right now, you know of what I speak. Unless you're some kind of wild, crazy fisherman that's going out there and enjoying, it's high tide at 4:30, huh? Yeah, Barney and the boys are all going to get on a boat there and try and catch some dolphin. The Wahoo are also running. Unless you're out on some kind of thing that you consider to be recreation, you don't want to be up at this hour. It's just a simple fact of life. But other than that, I mean, sleep deprivation, this thing is just a cream puff job, you would have to say. Coming in here and talking sports, and there's always something. The most commonly asked question, though, that I was hit with over the last 5 days. Hey, what do you think the Dolphins are going to do this year? Why does it always have to be, like, done in some goofball fashion? Can't, like, an intelligent person say, my, Jeff, you think the Dolphins will have another fine season? I mean, it's never like, hey, what do you think the Dolphins are going to do this year? And I feel bad. I feel guilty. You ever make a joke and then you feel really badly about it because you don't know if you're, like, to you it's not offensive, nor would it be offensive if somebody said something similar to you. You would find it funny, comical, whatever, but, it's like funny how? When you say it to the wrong person. And I think I did that the other day. A young lady who was serving us in a restaurant, a great place, the Fish Shack there, had just newly inked a Miami Dolphins logo tattoo onto, I guess, what would be the underside of your forearm? What would that be called technically from a medical standpoint? Do we know? No? You guys are pretty silent now that you're TV stars. The underside, though. I mean, your forearm I consider to be the top.
For the underside of your
I'm
forearm.
picturing Steve Garvey with the forearms. The underside of your forearm would be what? Underside of your forearm?
Yes. Forearm. Like when I work it out, I'm working out my forearm.
You don't have a top and a bottom to it?
No,
No, I mean, but the
bottom
underside looks totally different. I mean, the rough exterior shows, I mean, it's almost like the rings in the trunk of a tree, right? The rough exterior of your forearm kind of shows what you've been through in life, whereas the underside is that of the belly of a baby, is it not? I just saw it. But anyway, you get the picture. She had a tattoo, a Dolphins logo tattoo, and the ink was fresh. It wasn't even dry. I think some of it leaked onto my... No, it was well done. And like a fool, like an idiot, I decided to make one of my stupid DeForest jokes. And I say, well, what happened? They ran out of ink before they tattooed 8 and 8 underneath that?
Oh, no, you can't say that.
Oh, my God. Now, the woman,
that's not going anywhere.
the woman took it well, right? But, I mean, if you were going to get a Dolphin logo tattoo, would it not also be appropriate to tattoo 8 and 8 underneath it? And then we got into the usual series of jokes and ridiculous, off-color humor about, how that should be the marketing slogan. So what's wrong with 8 and 8? And the people in the restaurant that were within earshot of what I had to say, which it's a small place, so about half the place heard it, they all, immediately went into raucous laughter in unison at the idea that the Finns would go 8 and 8 again, which, I don't know, is it that preposterous? It probably is not. If we had Chris Perkins on the show, I'm sure his first words would be, 8 and 8, DeFo! But that is a magic question. I refuse to accept that. I really do. I refuse to accept 8 and 8. I don't think it's going to be any worse. I can't imagine. This would be a bigger surprise than the Marlins being, 12 games under 500 at this stage of the season, roughly halfway through, right about the halfway point. I think the Yankees had played 82 games, so they're 1 game over the halfway point. I don't know exactly. I haven't done the math on the Marlins and the standings yet because I just take a feeble glance at the standings and see where the Marlins stand in comparison to the pitching-rich New York Mets, who put the ground on the All-Star team. No Matt Harvey, huh? He started out like a house of fire this year and kind of slumped. A.J. Burnett, there's a real story talking about baseball all-stars. A.J. Burnett's been in the league 20 years. Can you believe that? 20 years. He was a Marlin with such tremendous hope and promise, and, even though he had the no-hitter, never really fulfilled the kind of, expectations that you had for him. Everybody thought A.J. Burnett was going to be a star with the Marlins today. Now he ends up getting traded off in one of those fire sales. And is sort of so-so. I mean, looks like one of those Barry Zito contracts, doesn't he? A.J. Burnett got a lot of money, ended up sort of flaming out, and here he is still in the league and an all-star, which is pretty amazing, pitching for, the Pirates now? And has them still very viable in the race, although you just, you don't know at this stage. I'm hoping that as pathetically as the Marlins have played so far this year and as badly as things have gone on the field, and in the front office, to an extent, I mean, you would have to say that there's turmoil there, no? You don't just dump a manager about 11 games into the season and then bring in some controversial figure in the sense that nobody's ever heard of him, and that's what makes him controversial. Hey, oh, what? Oh, yeah, good guy. Knows the game. Has seams on his forehead. Dan Jennings, right? He was one of those baseball guys. I always love that terminology. He's a baseball guy. As if, like, I don't want to reference, sensitive body part, but as if, he had 2 of those hanging there, if you know what I mean. What makes a baseball guy as opposed to just like a regular guy who happens to be in baseball? He's a baseball guy. You just picture Bertie Tebbetts coming out of his earlobes with advice. Remember when they had the, what did they call the scouts? They had the fabled old guys that were scouting for the Marlins. I thought it was a pretty clever thing. It was a Dave Dombrowski innovation. And what they call them, not the senior scouts, they call them something. Whoever knows that answer will distinguish with some kind of prize status here on the program. 866-801-0940. What were they called? The original, they had like Bertie Tebbetts and a bunch of like old salty dog guys scouting for the Marlins. And I don't think they actually did any scouting. I don't even know if they could find a ballpark with a GPS device, but they were called to something. The Master Scouts, the Wise Guys, they were called something. If anybody remembers that, please give us a call here on the show. Anyway, it's always something. That's the most often asked question. What will the Dolphins do? And I refuse to accept 8 and 8. Now, I don't know. Jimmy Cephalo, the great Jimmy Cephalo, actually said to me, they could win their first 6 games. And I'm looking at those first 6 games on the schedule, and I'm thinking, yeah, that could happen, but the likelihood of that is what? 0.0? 6-0 for the Marlins to start out the season. I mean, the Dolphins to start out the season.
I don't know if you remember, but you predicted when the NFL schedule came out 6-0.
I did that facetiously, obviously, because anybody would think that you were flat out of your mind if you thought that a team was going to get out of the chute at 6-0. Remember the days when the Dolphins used to get off to those fast starts, though? That was the big question about the end of the Shula era. Why couldn't they sustain this stuff in December when the games really matter? The games don't matter anymore in December, people. I'm sorry to tell you that if you go 4-0 in September, it's just as good as going 4-0 in December, is it not? You're still 4-0. You only play 16 games. That's a quarter of the season, all wins. So there's nothing wrong with getting out of the chute quickly. Yeah, and the Dolphins are primed this year to do that, are they not? They got schmanky teams early on. They don't play the Patriots until their 7th game, which I believe comes in week number 8. So Brady will be back, and he'll be in midseason form by then. That's an unfortunate circumstance, although we handle Brady. We don't need to be afraid of the best. It's the schmanky teams that do us in. Right? Buffalo Bills with Thad Lewis. That's a tough question to answer. Anyway, we'll dabble in that throughout the program today. You always have to deal with stupidity. And I don't know where you rank these stories in terms of stupidity. And then I'm going to make a case for an athlete that would have a reason to be pissed under the theory that, hey, where's the team when I need them? But the stupidity starts, of course. Lubie, what is your idle, pathetic defense for this kid, DeAndre Johnson?
My only defense is FSU pretty much got rid of him 2 weeks ago. Like, I feel like now this is going to be the Slam FSU day, when FSU was in front of this thing a long time ago. Like, it's just getting out now because of the video, but this wasn't a Roger Goodell situation. Like, they put the kid on indefinite suspension, which is pretty much kicking the kid off. So, I mean... You're
amazing. You're just amazing.
What am I amazing?
You should be screaming. What kind of pattern of behavior is this?
There's no recourse. Get the kid off your damn team. I don't want to see that kid in an FSU uniform ever. You can't... I don't care. She's supposed to drop the N-bomb. She clearly punches him first. I don't care. Have your boys drag you out of the damn club and yell in the sky. You don't ever put your hands on a woman ever.
I would agree with you there. I mean, you know what? And I keep thinking back, having just turned 64, to a kinder, gentler time where that would never be a consideration. Your friends would kill you for just taking a swing at a woman at that point. No matter what she did, no matter what she said, that feeble punch that she threw was hardly enough to justify. This guy throws a Joe Frazier, smoking Joe Frazier, right hook.
It's not like
right
the way
he
described it. I thought maybe he grabbed her and they're overblowing it. No, he literally cocked back and rocked her in the face in the middle of a bar, like with people all around.
It only took Willie Meggs a couple of weeks to bring charges against this kid. Right? He's looking at a Ray Rice video to an exponent of 20. And, this is as violent and vicious a punch as you'll see thrown at a woman in your life. I mean, and as somewhat, you would have to say, defenseless, she is in a posture where she did take a swing at the guy. So there's no justifying what he did. And certainly the force with which he hit this woman was insane. Although, I guess, fortunately, he might have just opened up his hand at the last second there. Otherwise, she's out cold. But she's bleeding, and it's not good. But it took Willie Meggs still 2 weeks to realize, hey, there's a charge in there somewhere. We'll charge this guy with some kind of assault. And he's gone from the team. So, not good. I'm happy to see you're on the right side of this thing, Lubie. I figured you'd be defending the kid under the Stephen A. Smith provocation theory. 866-8... Yes, Chris. Chris is my hero now because I'm going to be drinking Dunkin' D coffee off him for the next 10 days.
Yes, sir. I was going to say, how quickly would they react if it was Everett Golston as opposed to DeAndre Johnson?
FSU? Yeah, he'd probably still be on the team. 866-801. Even Lubie's shaking his head. Yeah, they probably
There's no way. You punch a woman in the face, you're off the team. There's no way. I don't give a damn if it was Jameis in his prime. You get. That's why Jameis skirted, because there was never video. You punch a girl in the face, I'm sorry, I don't give a damn. Who you could be Aaron Rodgers. You punch a girl in the face, you are not playing football anymore. That's putrid. That's horrendous.
That was the ugliness of the weekend. Stupidity, probably Jason Pierre-Paul. Who, what is that family, the famous family that does all the fireworks? And you have them, they're like the Zampinis or something, I don't know. Got some circus name. Anyway, they're well-renowned for their fireworks shows, and any show that's done that isn't designed by them is considered to be feeble. They're like the leaders in all the fireworks. That's another name we're reaching for here on the program. The name of the famous fireworks family. Anyway, Jason Pierre-Paul decides that he's going to rival them with some neighborhood fireworks show. And then what? He was lighting them off his head, the rockets and all of this Roman candle stuff that he had shipped in a U-Haul van. But there's a story behind it, and we'll get to that. And it could be a justification for the attitude that some of these athletes take about the team not having my back. If ever there was a reason for Jason Pierre-Paul to sour on the Giants, it would be now. 866-80. We'll discuss that when we come back. 866-801-0940 on the phone lines. Jeff DeForest with you. We're streaming live, SportsStreamNetwork.com. The boys were here early today, and we've worked out a way to work Chris and Lubie into the shot. So the show has just become triply as exciting on SportsStreamNetwork.com. We'll take your telephone calls throughout the morning, 866-801-0940. Good to be back with you. 940 Winz Miami Sports. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Is that Big Jack Nicholas? No, Johnny Miller put on quite a bit of weight. So hitting out of a sand trap at 6:19.
Live from Miami's Magic City.
4.5.
A car has caught fire. It is fully engulfed in flames right now, affecting the Palmetto Expressway. This is State Road 826 eastbound Ludlam Road. It's where the right lane is blocked. Already have slowdowns out there because of this. You might want to stick with the Turnpike extension. We have no issues in Broward. I'm Erica Del Sordo. For breaking news, traffic, and severe weather, depend on News Radio 610 WI.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Get out to Marlins Park on July 10th for happy hour at the Budweiser Bowtie Bar. Then see your Marlins take on the Reds at 7:10. Fans get a Marlins Energy Team poster. Come celebrate Coors Light Christmas in July at Marlins Park. For just $25, get a game ticket, a Christmas in July t-shirt, and enjoy all the festivities. Plus, stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular presented by Preferred Care Partners. Go to marlins.com to get your tickets today.
Everyone knows that car dealers pay up to 50% less at the auto auction. Now you can too. Place your bid at Toyota of Hollywood's pre-auction sales center, and you could drive home in a quality pre-owned vehicle at 30, 40, and up to 50% less than their original new car price. Over 600 cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs at up to 50% less. And if you don't see it on the lot, we'll get it for you. Toyota of Hollywood's pre-auction sales center is connected to over 100 auto auctions from coast to coast, so you can get a pre-auction price on any make, any model, anytime. At Toyota of Hollywood's pre-auction sales center, 100% credit approval is our goal, and all qualifying vehicles are backed with a 30-day return policy for your peace of mind. Place your bid and pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood's pre-auction sales center on 441 just south of Sheridan Street in Hollywood, or online at preauctionsalescenter.com. Call 844-MY-PRICE.
Sprint knows all families are different. Some have a mom, dad, grandma, and twins, while others...
You got 2.5, Steve. 2.5.
And 2 moms. There are lots of types of families, but only one family plan that's perfect for everyone. Sprint's Family Share Pack. For just $100 a month, the whole family gets 20 gigs of high-speed data to share, plus unlimited talk and text for everyone. Unlike T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T's 10-gig family plans, Sprint's Family Share Pack offers double the data. It's the best family plan out there among national carriers. The Sprint Family Share Pack. $100 a month, 20 gigs of high-speed data to share, up to 5 lines, plus unlimited talk and text for everyone. Ready to switch but stuck with your carrier? Not anymore. Sprint will pay off your old phone and contract so you can switch. It's that easy. Visit us online or at a Sprint store today.
After 9/30/16, pay an additional $15 a month per line. Offer coverage not available everywhere or for discounted phones. Excludes taxes, surcharges, roaming, international, and premium content. Subject to new line activation, $36 activation fee. Credit valid port in. High speed is 3G, 4G. Prohibited network use rules and throughput reduction applies. Streaming video speeds limited to 3G. Contract buyout via reward card requires online registration and phone turn-in. Restrictions apply. See sprint.com for details. Other marks are property of the respective owners.
So we're in Atlantic City. Finally had to relent to take the Mustang to the famous sub shop there to get her off my back. And what happens? I realize one bite into the sandwich that nothing, even the most famous places in America, compares with our own La Spada's right here in our own backyard. La Spada's original hoagies are far and away the most...
A minute and a half.
Mouth-watering hoagies you can find anywhere on the planet. And man, are they stacked with your favorite meats and vegetables. Starting with the original location on Commercial Boulevard by the beach in Fort Lauderdale. And now with 5 locations in Broward, Gail and Harry have turned hoagie making into an edible art form that simply must be experienced. So whether it's the roast beef piled to the ceiling, the incredible monster that more than lives up to its name, my favorite, the Italian special, or any of the amazing hoagies, deli sandwiches, or salads, La Spada's Original Hoagies has been making diners smile since 1973. Great idea for carrying your next party, especially for the big game, or a business meeting for that matter. La Spada's, the best damn hoagie in town. As we found out, the best damn hoagie in the world.
Like everyone else, I've made a lot of mistakes.
Hindsight.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
Sometimes it's a real kick in the balls.
Square in the nuts.
We all say things.
I have never doped.
Or do things that we later regret.
30 seconds, stand by.
Missing out on the best sports talk doesn't have to be one of them. Stay connected to your favorite station wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app. Open our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Dan Patrick, weekdays 10 to Eisen. 940 wins, Miami Sports.
The time of my life, and I never felt this way before. Oh, I had
the time
of my life. I'm having a good
time
with you.
The DeFo Show, featuring Lubie and Don't Forget Chris, here on 940 Winz, Miami Sports.
The Deep Man is back.
How much did you pay to have the inclusion of you two guys in that?
Well, I made like 14 of them, and 2 of them have us, so
Okay,
the
very
percentages
good.
are low.
I'm glad you guys got
But I
mentioned.
figure we should get a little something since you mention us all the time. People are so confused. We're these other 2 people.
No, people do distinguish you clearly, Lubie. I noticed that in the days I was riding around and happened to be in the car, and we caught a little of the show yesterday on my way to play some tennis, and there was Lubie prominently featured. There's no question about it. You are a big part of that. Everybody always says, hey, what does that guy look like?
Well, you can see me now.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to see me, but if you want to see the video of the moron and idiot who should never touch a football again, DeAndre Johnson, we have it on the LubeTube page, and we have a new thing now if you want to check out anything.
Keywords, right?
What happened?
Keywords.
Keywords, there you go.
I like
put
that.
in DeFo, put in Lubie.
You can get it off anything. I mean, just you pop in DeFo on what, 940wins.com?
940wins.com, and just go to the keyword section, DeFo, and you get his whole page.
Right to the source of the thing. That's an ugly video. That's one you can't get past if you're this kid. And not that he should be able to get past it. I mean, hardly what you would want. This reminds me of the days at Rutgers, right, where they were all upset under C. Vivian Stringer. Well, was that the name of the coach? C. Vivian
Woman
Stringer?
coach, yeah.
Yeah, he was the women's basketball coach. Of course, they had that big thing with Stern. Welcome back to the show, by the way. Jeff DeForest with you. 940 Wins Miami Sports, and with you until 10 o'clock, and it feels good to be back in the chair here. You can catch us live on SportsStreamNetwork.com. Always having a good time there. Later on, a new DeForest Files, I promise. I'm working on it now. If we could turn the camera around, you can see that it's going up. I'm going to email you the copy for this thing. Dwayne Wade, I got to do a little thing on Dwayne Wade. Could there ever be a possibility that should have never happened, right? It'd be like Dan Marino going to Minnesota at the tail end of his career. It would have been ugly. It's Johnny U sitting on a helmet with a lightning bolt on it. Joe Namath, a disheveled, decrepit Joe Namath on a Rams helmet trying to buy his way into a game. And when he gets in there, you realize, wow, this guy's a shot fighter. You can't do that to Dwayne Wade, can you?
We're going to have the same conversation next year, though. He's only on a one-year deal, so we're going to be doing the whole ordeal next offseason.
People might feel pacified, and who knows what's going to happen next season, because isn't that great about NBA speculation? I'm listening to all this feverish NBA speculation, and then you realize it's so temporary because next year there's going to be such an explosion of cash, an infusion of cash into the players' coffers that even the owners are going to allow them to make another $30 million collectively as a team versus the salary cap. That doesn't include the Dan Gilberts of the world who are going to be paying enormous amounts of money in NBA luxury tax, but are going to reap the benefits of that because guess what? Guess who was in the finals this year? Playing, how many games would that be? They would have needed to win 16. I mean, they're playing about 25 extra games already on an 82-game schedule with one LeBron James as your featured performer. And guess what? Every eyeball is riveted to the TV. All of your advertisers are maximizing the value of their dollars. The crowds are enormous. The attention that's being paid to your ball club is humongous. Why? Because you have that one player in your squad. You could pay him any amount of money. LeBron James literally carried the league last year. you would have to say. I have to respect David West. This is going to prove out to be a true story, I guess, and he has indicated that he's going to sign with the San Antonio Spurs. This is a Kirilenko move of sorts, where, remember Kirilenko, the Russian player, opted out of a $10 million deal, I think, with the Timberwolves, to go to the Nets and play for Prokhorov, and is it Prokhorov? Prokhorov. And everybody thought that there was some secret ruble deal that they had constructed that would make up for the $7 million in salary loss that this guy was going to incur. And then he didn't really do that much with the Nets. Well, it wasn't like he had any great relationship with them, and he's gone now, back to play some Russian ball somewhere. But David West absconding the contract that he had, bailing out of that, could have made $10 million this year, more, right, with the Pacers.
Could have made $12 million this year.
And he decided, and this is great, I mean, this is one of the few times you see this, and maybe only with this club, San Antonio, do you see this syndrome where players are actually sincere about the idea that they would rather win and go out of the gym every night with a good feeling than make a ton of money. And you know, this is something, I guess, that would have been applicable in a Wade situation where you look at it and you go, man, you made a lot of money already. I don't know that anybody needs to have any great sympathy. If it's just an ego thing to be the highest paid guy, or that the club is not showing you the proper amount of loyalty, then fine. You know, we'll go ahead and back you in this argument. But I don't think anybody would have been concerned that Dwayne Wade was being badly overpaid. But we all know that at this stage, when you're only capable of going in 60 games or so, how could you be a $20 million a year player? And at the expense, maybe, of sacrificing some talent and depth that you may have on your roster, you're starting at that point to literally compromise the chances of the team of being any good. That being said, I don't know that anybody could begrudge Dwayne Wade this deal. And yet, I mean, you're looking at David West. I mean, tell me that isn't the most noble thing that you've seen in a long time.
The craziest thing is he could have gone to a winner and made good money. Like the Warriors were offering him, I think, like $5 million. The Cavs $5 million. The Warriors just won the title, and he's taking $1.5 million to go to the Spurs.
Boy, the Spurs suddenly loom as being extremely dangerous. Do they not? I mean, another guy in there to spell Duncan at the center position and take the heat off him, and an outstanding player. And then on top of that, David West, who's a hell of a player when he gets going. I mean, when Indiana was good, that wasn't that long ago. That was just the tail end of last year. We thought Indiana was a hell of a team. And they're completely busted up now, too. Holy Larry Bird. 866-801-0940. And this Jason Pierre-Paul thing, I wanted to get to that because it's one of those occasions where if an athlete ever was going to say, well, and we see this a lot, especially when it comes to just verbal stuff, but this is a tangible thing. We're talking about contractually, right? Adrian Peterson was all upset with Minnesota because they didn't have his back, supposedly, which seems like a lot of baloney because, if anything, Adrian Peterson caused the organization much more embarrassment than they could ever bring upon him by not necessarily being 1,000% behind him as a man after, let's face it, he beat his child with a stick.
How could they have been? There was pictures of his son's scrotum, like, bloody. Like, what are they? Yeah, we love you, AP. Yeah. How could
this was the same AP that didn't know anything about a kid who had been beaten to death by the boyfriend of one of the, 17 women that he had children with. All right, I'm exaggerating there. I don't want to get involved in any lawsuits, but you get the picture. And, if he was upset about the club not backing him up, how about Jason Pierre-Paul has an accident? It's not like the guy was doing something, I don't know, was it illegal? I would imagine that these fireworks probably fell into the category of being maybe outside of the city ordinance there in Coral Springs.
A U-Haul full?
Literally, I mean, it was like a truck you would wheel into Afghanistan to a battlefield. I don't know, I wasn't there. But still, I mean, the guy injures himself in kind of a freak accident. People are screaming that Rory McIlroy was being irresponsible for playing soccer. I mean, you're not anticipating something like this is going to happen. But supposedly the club, according to one Adam Schefter, is rescinding its $60 million contract offer they were about to tender him in lieu of signing the franchise tag tender that was on the table for him for $13 million, which he still has the option to sign, but they also have the option to rescind that, which is now in the conversation. That's ugly, isn't it? I mean, you talk about turning your back on a guy because of some misfortune. 866-801-0940 on the phone lines. It doesn't seem like, I mean, I'm no doctor. I haven't examined a guy. I just play one on TV, but it doesn't seem like an injury that would keep him from playing football effectively, does it? Oh, yeah, he tore all the skin off the bottom of his hand. I don't know. I mean, did that sound like something that would keep him from sacking quarterbacks? Got to be some kind of Panama Lewis glove you can put on that. 866-801-0940 on the phone lines. We'll come back. We'll grab your telephone calls. Jeff DeForest with you. 940 Winz Miami Sports. Young Chris and Mike Lubie's helping us out. We're streaming live on SportsStreamNetwork.com. That's always a good time. Jory and Todd, they're doing a great job with us. How about that guy, Rick? Huh? The technical guy is always a little bit eccentric, is he not?
No comment.
We picked that up at the party. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 6:33.
Live from Miami's Magic Casino Traffic Center.
Fire rescue is now on scene of the car fire at the Palmetto Expressway eastbound at Ludlam Road. They have 2 right lanes blocked. The car fire's been extinguished. Now we've just got some major delays in the area. You might want to head east on the Turnpike extension instead. Broward County still looking good. I'm Erica Del Sordo for breaking news, traffic, and severe weather. Depend on News Radio 610 WIOD.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
So, what brings you and Greg to marriage counseling today?
Jake from State Farm. My husband calls him all the time. 2, 3 in the morning, it doesn't matter.
I see. Greg, is this true?
Yeah, Jake saves us tons on our insurance, no matter what time it is. He's always there.
Mm-hmm. And how much did he save you?
Hundreds.
Listen, can I call this Jake from State Farm?
You've got to be kidding me.
State Farm is there for you anytime, anywhere. Call 1-800-STATE-FARM or click today. Get to a better state. State Farm.
The Home Depot has a new lower price on Glidden Premium Interior and Exterior paint. Right now, Glidden Interior starts at just $17.97. So, let's cover more ground, and walls, and ceilings. Glidden Premium offers fresh color and solid performance. The best value paint at the lowest price of the season. Let's do this. For a limited time, get an extra $2 off 1-gallon cans of Glidden Premium Interior paint. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
Mobile Mike here to tell you about my friends Osmani Garcia and Dustin Feely of the Omega Home Selling Team, Keller Williams. They guarantee to sell your home or they will buy it. Call Osmani Garcia and Dustin Feely at 305-340-2830. Equal housing opportunity.
Excludes tax, tag registration, and title, and includes dealer fees. 0% APR. Select models based on $1,389 per $1,000 financed. Looking for our lowest price on a 2015 Toyota? Then get to the 2015 Toyota Sell-Off at Toyota of Hollywood, where you can buy a new 2015 Toyota with 0 down and 0% interest-free financing till 2021. We've got hundreds of new 2015 Toyotas on sale, plus a huge selection of pre-owned Toyotas in stock for immediate delivery, like a 2015 RAV4 XLE, not $27,000, on sale, $21,925. A 2015 Camry SE, not $25,000, on sale, $16,975. Or a 2015 Corolla L with automatic, not $19,000, on sale, $13,475 at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total new Toyota retail sales in the Southeast region for 2014 for SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Hurry, sale ends Monday.
Welcome to Staples. How can I help you?
Hey, Staples guy. I need to promote my new business and do it on budget.
I can make that happen.
Can you print business cards?
Staples can print business cards, brochures, banners.
Pens?
Pens, magnets, luggage tags.
Calendars.
Calendars, sticky notes, lawn signs, and window decals.
What about foam fingers?
What color? Red, yellow, blue.
You had me at yellow.
Make on budget happen, make getting noticed happen. Staples, make more happen. Now at Staples, get 20% off any copy and print order of $50 or more.
Offer valid in store and online at staples.com/on-budget and 7/2015. Excludes daily deals, self-serve copying and faxing, computer rentals, and outsourced print services. Discount applied before taxes. May not be combined with any other offer.
Right now, qualified Wells Fargo customers can get even lower rates with special interest rate discounts on new personal loans with the Great Rate event.
My great event is managing my debt.
A fresh start.
Lower payments so we can save even more.
Hurry in. The Great Rate event runs from July 1st through September 30th, 2015. Stop by Wells Fargo or visit wellsfargo.com/great rate to learn more.
Subject to credit qualification. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
Some showers move in this morning, but by this afternoon, it'll be hot, hazy, and steamy with some sunshine. Highs in the low 90s, feeling like the hundreds. That's your forecast from 610 WIOD.
Poverty doesn't discriminate. It feeds on the forgotten. At Unbound, they believe in the collective wisdom of society's oldest and most vulnerable members. Providing sponsorship for the elderly is just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org.
This is Greg Likens. Join us each and every day right here on the Finsiders from 4 to 7 as we discuss the latest team news and get you ready for Dolphins training camp and the 2015 season with entertainment and insight from our analysts and guests right here on 940 Winz.
Brandon Knight, you're in a pickup game. You want Dellavedova on your team?
Do I have any other options?
You would leave him out of the game even if he brought the game ball?
Wake up with DeFo, joined by Lubie and Chris. Here on 940 Winz, Miami Sports.
Club going up on the Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut and she Tuesday. Club going up on the Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut and she Tuesday. Club.
All right, morning once again, everybody. Jeff DeForest with you, 940 Winz Miami Sports with you today until 10 o'clock. We're streaming live on SportsStreamNetwork.com. Jory and Todd responsible for that, doing a great job. Apparently rave reviews for what's been happening, even though it's mostly just a shot of my ugly face here yapping on the show and trying to engage, trying to indulge the South Florida audience at a bad time. I'm telling you, the most often asked question right now that I'm hit with when I roll around town. You see this, Lubie, young Chris, to a lesser extent, relatively new to this syndrome, where a guy says, hey, you're DeFo, man. And you go, yeah, that's me. And then the next question is, hey, how do you think the Dolphins are going to do? And I don't know. I really, honestly, I'm hard-pressed to come up with an answer because if you say anything, it sounds like you have an agenda. We're the flagship station for the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, it would be, people think that now only two things work. Either just extreme ineptitude and what would you call it? The clowning of the team? Not the cloning, but the clowning of the team, where you have the incognito stuff and then, some of the stuff with Smoke and Joe. And last year, all kinds of turmoil again, as, we had Mike Wallace and that whole soap operatic saga there about a guy that you thought was going to be, just 2 years ago, we were talking about this guy as the much-needed savior of the team. You can hear the words of Mick from the Rocky movies ringing in your ears as he's having Rocky chase a chicken around a parking lot. You need speed.
Women weaken legs.
Close, yeah. He's probably right about that, too. Women tend to weaken bankrolls more than they weaken legs, especially if you're in the aftermath of a very expensive and dicey divorce. Yes, Mr. Chris.
Did you see where Russell Wilson is not going to have sex until he's married?
I find that a mistake. I really do.
Right?
I say have it whenever you can have it. Whenever it's offered to you, you should go ahead. If it's going to be, mutually consensual, which I would imagine consensual implies that it's mutual. It's not just a one-way street, but I would say go ahead and do it. You never know when that chance is going to appear again.
Well, what benefit do you have from not having sex?
None. You have to think. Women weaken legs. That's the old thing from Mick. And, he was, dead on the money. He was talking about a lot of different things, including you need speed. And we all thought that was going to be the answer, did we not? We're all out there drooling, salivating. You got to get Wallace. Jeff Ireland was hailed as a genius for making that deal. There are always going to be the cynics. After your ball club does everything that the fans have been screaming about for like the last 20 years, and they finally answer these questions, what's the next thing to pop up from the cynical media? Oh, yeah? They'll never be able to fill the roster out now. Ha! With the money they're paying that clown. Like, wait a minute. They just went out and did everything that you could possibly ask them to do. You've been screaming about this forever. This is the one thing that's going to solidify public opinion that your club is on the level. And they go out and make that move, and then the next thing you know, they're getting trashed for it, which, unfortunately, the cynics were probably right in this case, that Mike Wallace was not worth the money. And certainly from the standpoint, you would like this, and I don't know where this shook out. I don't know that we'll ever totally get to the bottom of it. But it does seem like Mike Wallace and his entire faction of friends are all gone from the team, right? Gibson, I guess he was becoming prohibitive against the salary cap also for his level of contribution. I thought he was a pretty good receiver when he was healthy, this guy Gibson. But he ruined himself in that one stupid incident where he was interpreting for Wallace. I mean, how pathetic was that anyway? Listen, Mike, you're making $60 million. Just speak to the media. If you're unhappy, that's fine. I mean, no one's going to have a big problem with it. Yeah, of course there could be some tensions in terms of philosophical difference between a wide receiver who can sprint by virtually anybody and isn't getting the ball. He's catching 9-yard pass patterns. He's catching slants. He's lined up in the slot. He's doing things that he never ordinarily would be considered capable of even doing, and did a pretty good job of making that transition. But he was the answer. I mean, this was the thing. That was just 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that this guy was the savior of the franchise. Now what is it? Is it expectations that Ryan Tannehill will become a great quarterback? What is it that's fueling the enthusiasm of the people that believe that this is finally going to be a double-digit win team? I want to believe that. I really do. I'm trying to convince myself of that. I'm willing to go.
I'm like, who are you trying to convince, us or you?
I'm willing to go in front of Judge Judy and try and make this case that the Finns will not be 8-8 this year.
That is you're right though. Like they went and got LeBron.
They can't be 8-8. They should leave the league if they finish 8-8.
Well, they went and got LeBron, and everyone's like, well, who are they going to get now? They got LeBron. They went and got Ndamukong Suh, the one guy that you laughed at me when I brought up the name.
I did.
And then everyone's like, oh, well, who are they going to get after? I don't care. They got Suh.
Yes, I do believe that they could line up Ndamukong Suh and no one else on the defensive front. They could go ahead and put any system of patsies that they want to run in there, and probably still be okay. And it's not like they don't have talent there. Last time I checked, I mean, we're looking at Cameron Wake, Olivier Vernon, pass rushing monsters, and they're part of this. And I didn't mind that pickup of Mosley, a 40-year veteran with a lot of years on him, as they say, a lot of football years, but still one of those guys that worked well in tandem with Ndamukong Suh, and they bottled up the run, which was the single biggest problem the Dolphins faced when they were exposed at the end of last year for not having a great defense against the run. And what happened, people? Everybody ran the football on him. It was just an absolute obliteration.
Last year, if we had Suh against the Packers, the Broncos, the Lions, we can very easily win those games.
You would have to think if you took Suh off the Lions and put him on the Dolphins, it's the old Don Shula thing, right? He could take Izard and beat Ewan. But if you took him out of that lineup, that's a big difference, one win in the NFL. 866-801-0940. How do we get on that? I was going to make a case for Jason Pierre-Paul. The fact that the Giants immediately turned their back on this guy, how could he possibly go back to the Giants after that? Franchise tag tender or not, you would have to think he becomes an unrestricted free agent, that they rescind the franchise tag. We'll get into this with Brett Tesler later on in the program because he would understand these things. I heard a very clear explanation of it, and it still leaves me confused as to how this exactly works. But if you ever were going to make a case for a player saying, hey, the club just turned its back on me at a critical time, who's to say that this guy's career is damaged in the least by what happened? I mean, he's probably not feeling too good about things. He nearly blew the skin off the inside of his hand.
Don't guys play with these massive casts and still dominate?
Yeah, you would think
that he's going to have to do that. The season's not for a long time.
I don't think anything was ever wrong with Ray Nitschke, right? He's always running around out there with a cast, one of the Hall of Famers, one of the greats, one of the legends of the game. Right? He's perfectly fine. Oh, yeah, he's broken his forearm in 4 places there. He'll have to wear a monstrous metal cast while he's chasing quarterbacks. Right? He was just knocking people unconscious. It was ridiculous. 866-801-0940 on the phone lines. You can't consider the Roy McIlroy thing stupidity, can you? I mean, the guy's out there, that could have happened if he was playing cards, could it not? He could have gotten up, taken a bad step, and twisted an ankle. It's not like he's Tiger Woods at this point either, where we're suspicious that maybe it's the juice that's doing him in. By the way, I mean, the worst thing that can happen to any golf fan is Tiger having a decent round, isn't it? Because now that he was like 40 shots out of the lead there at this latest golf tournament, everybody's got him winning the British Open. Back with more in a moment. Jeff DeForest with you, 940 Winz Miami Sports. Also streaming live, sportstreamnetwork.com. You can dial us up anytime. Good to be back with you here on the show. The FSU quarterback thing. Where was Willie Meggs? I mean, it took him 2 weeks to bring charges against this kid. You thought a long time ago if you were going to do something really heinous, do it in Germany, because if that guy could stab Monica Seles in the back of the neck there while she was playing tennis and do like a half a year of probation, you can get away with any crime. Then you thought it was Los Angeles, right? You had the O.J. thing and Robert Blake. But now it's Tallahassee. That would have to be the easiest place to commit a crime and not face any severe punishment, at least not right away. 866-801-0940. On the phone lines, Jeff DeForest with you. 940 Winz Miami Sports. Back with more in a moment. Now that. I'm glad you're not defending this guy, Lubie. Okay. It's 6:48.
Live from Miami's Magic City Casino Center.
The car fire on the Palmetto Expressway eastbound Ludlam Road now off to the side. The problem, it's still stop and go from Miami Lakes Drive around the big curve. You might actually want to stick with the Turnpike extension to head east right now. No issues in Broward County on any of those major roadways. I'm Erica Del Sordo for breaking news, traffic, and severe weather. Depend on News Radio 610 WIOD.
This report is brought to you by Goya. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Everyone wants to get home to feast on some Goya goodness, like tender beans, delicious yellow rice, golden olive oil on salads, and much more. Because if it's Goya, it has to be good.
It's the summer.
We enjoy the family time at the lake. We're going to go to the Bahamas.
People are on the move.
They drink, they travel, they go to warm weather cities where they tan.
But no matter what kind of traveling you're doing.
What year was it when the rep stopped calling traveling?
Take us with you wherever you go.
Open iHeartRadio.
I have a job where I travel.
iHeartRadio turns your phone into the radio anywhere, anytime.
So how do you do it?
It's a free app.
iHeartRadio.
Download it today or listen on iHeartRadio.com.
Perfect.
We've been hearing a lot about Uber lately, so we decided to get out there and talk to some actual Uber partners.
Is signing up to drive with Uber really hard?
It was simple and easy.
So if you have a phone, you can just sign up and earn money?
You just open the app whenever you feel like driving.
Sign up, drive, and you make some money.
Are the hours good?
I work less hours and I make more money.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great. What do you think I should do?
You need to sign up for Uber.
You can make serious life-changing money when you drive with Uber. Get started today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
Just the other night, as I gazed up into the sky, I saw a shooting star. In that moment, I made a wish that Geico would be available 24/7, by phone, on the web, or with the Geico app. After that, I realized my wish had already come true. So basically, I had just wasted a perfectly good wish. Then I started to think about dolphins and felt better right away.
Geico. Anywhere, anytime.
Like the taste of fresh apples? Try an Angry Orchard hard cider. At Angry Orchard, we believe in tradition. That's why we use apples from a 100-year-old orchard. It takes 2 apples to make each bottle of Angry Orchard. So raise a glass to a time when apples were best served in a pint glass. Angry Orchard, when you're looking for something a little different. Crisp, refreshing, and not too sweet. Just like me. Angry Orchard hard cider. Branch out.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Drink responsibly.
I'm a freelance photographer, and I handle my own business. That's why I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's a simple program that helps me estimate my federal quarterly taxes and separate my business and personal expenses. Say I buy a new lens. The purchase pops up on my phone. I just swipe left to file it as a business expense. And tickets to a ball game with my kids, I swipe right to file as personal.
Dad, I'm hungry.
I got a minute and a half. Swipe right for the hot dogs. That's how I own it.
If you work for yourself, try QuickBooks Self-Employed with a free 30-day trial. Learn more at QBSelfemployed.com.
$79 a month, you can drive around the brand new Toyota Corolla. $99 a month will get you in the brand new Camry. My cousin Eric, he's the owner of the all-new Toyota of North Miami. Service your vehicle there, you're going to get free car washes for life. Need an oil change? Just $19.95. Visit ToyotaofNorthMiami.com or go see my cousin Eric's brand new dealership in person. Toyota of North Miami's brand new location. Just exit 826 East, and you could do that off the Turnpike or I-95 as well. Go see my cousin Eric or visit his website, ToyotaofNorthMiami.com.
Excludes tax, tag registration, and title, and includes dealer fees. 0% APR. Select models based on $1,389 per $1,000 financed. Looking for our lowest price on a 2015 Toyota? Then get to the 2015 Toyota Sell-Off at Toyota of Hollywood, where you can buy a new 2015 Toyota with 0 down and 0% interest-free financing till 2021. We've got hundreds of new 2015 Toyotas on sale. sale. Plus a huge selection of pre-owned Toyotas in stock for immediate delivery. Like a 2015 RAV4 XLE, not $27,000, on sale, $21,925. A 2015 Camry SE, not $25,000, on sale, $16,975. Or a 2015 Corolla L with automatic, not $19,000, on sale, $13,475 at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total new Toyota retail sales in the Southeast region for 2014 for SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Hurry, sale ends Monday.
Dan Patrick coming up 10 till noon. Right now you're waking up with DeFo on 940 Winz, Miami Sports.
That was late. Have you ever seen that call picked up that late? Not at all.
Hey, that's unbelievable, and you know it. You know it is, though. How does that get overturned? Congratulations. Hey, can I get explained that one? That's pretty awesome. Just flat out overturning a pass interference call? Your man saw it and threw the penalty.
But we can't face guard.
I've never in the history seen one turned over. Congratulations, man. First time in the history that's happened.
Wake up with DeFo, joined by Lubie and Chris, here on 940 Winz, Miami Sports.
If this was the last dance of the night.
Welcome back to the show. Good morning once again, everybody. Good to have you with us on this fine Tuesday. Jeff DeForest. Also good to be back on this Tuesday. I was trying to figure out, because you're always, you get a day off, you're immediately thinking at my age, having just passed the second stage of the Mendoza line for men. 54 would be the original Mendoza line for men. You hit 54, things seriously start falling apart. Look around you if you have anybody that's 54 plus in your immediate circle of friends, acquaintances, co-workers. You're probably starting to think about if it's a guy, talking about changing, the way that you perceive this person to old-timer, right? Hey, old guy. That's the kind of stuff that you get. But it's true. I mean, this is where your organs start to go a little bit. They start to give you difficulty. Even going to the bathroom is a chore, is it not? Once you hit 54. You still think you have it, though, but 64 would be phase 2 of the Mendoza line for men. Because after that, I mean, all bets are off. I mean, you just don't know. You're hoping to get another day out of it. If you wake up in the morning, you're feeling pretty good. But anyway, we managed to pass all that. And it's good to be back with you, for sure, here on 940 Winz Miami Sports, and also streaming live on SportsStreamNetwork.com. And we keep coming back to the magic question, and that is, it's always a concern here in South Florida, if you're doing this for a living, that much of what goes on in the world of sport will just bypass any level of consideration where it would become a topic of discussion on a sports talk show or subject of an article. There was a ton of stuff happening yesterday that was of great interest. Was there not? Yeah, you had Venus and Serena going at it at Wimbledon. All the heavyweights in the men's category seem to be moving on in fine style, including a move now. He always makes these convincing moves, does he not? At some early stage of the Grand Slams, Roger Federer gives rise to hope that maybe he's got another moment of magic left in him, especially on the grass there at Wimbledon, which is in and of itself a very unusual surface. Show of hands out there. How many of you have ever played tennis on a grass surface? I'm not talking about when you just hit the ball around out of boredom in your backyard with your kid and you had some, imaginary net that you would put up. I'm talking about actually going out to a grass court. I think I know of one, and every time I mention it here in South Florida, where a lot of tennis is being played at all times. Probably as we speak, many of you are on your way to the tennis courts to get your morning game in there, because what's great about South Florida is pretty much nobody works. Nobody has any jobs. People are just roaming around. Hey, what'd you do today? Yeah, I went fishing. Yeah, I played golf. Yeah, I was doing some tennis. Went to the beach. Had a party. People are rarely talking about, oh, man, I tell you what, I went to my 9 to 5, and then I went straight from there to my second job and worked an overnight shift. And there are many people, no doubt, in that category. But I would imagine very few of you have actually played tennis on grass. Every time you say, there's a court on Key Biscayne down there by the Crandon Park Tennis Center. They do have a couple of grass courts, I believe. And the public can get out there and play on them. But I think there's maybe one in Boca somewhere. No? Is there a country club that has grass courts for tennis? Unusual surface. And you see where having a big hammer serve still is very effective. And you saw guys like Karlovic still alive in the tournament, giving people a hard time. But there's always rise to hope, and it's happened again, that Federer might be in there. That being said, the focus of almost everybody on the South Florida sports landscape seems now to be turning towards the Miami Dolphins. And can they do it? I don't know that we have the answer to that question. Are they better people? You tell me. Than they were a year ago? You would have to say yes. I mean, this Mike Tannenbaum thing largely panned by the public because of his association with the Jets, and immediately people started casting aspersions at Stephen Ross, who does nothing but empty his pockets in an all-out, just blinded effort to win. Exactly what you would want. You might want an owner that has, do you really need an owner of a team that has some deeper acumen for sport? Or do you need a guy that just has a big pile of cash, is heart in the right place, and just wants to get out of the way and let people run a ball club? Now he brings in Tannenbaum, and that was a source. Remember all the people that were panning that move, Lubie, including you, I believe. That might have been the subject of one of your very negative Loop Tube editorials.
Well, it was just in line with that theory of too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, who's in charge, who's not in charge, what are the roles?
Okay, but we've seen what this guy's role is. It's to be the maniac in residence and go out there and shake it up a little bit. And I think people are expecting that that some of the moves that this guy has made will pay immediate dividends, as opposed to the usual position, which is, maybe down the road. That hurts when you're talking about the National Football League. Maybe down the road doesn't really sell. Because, unfortunately, you have to suffer through the indignity of yet another totally mediocre season, if that's the case. But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying 8-8 this year. I think they could change the slogan. So what's wrong with 8-8 doesn't apply anymore. But it is the most often asked question around South Florida. Do you find that, Libby, Chris, now that you're associated?
They ask me all the time, what do you think about the Dolphins? I'm like I'm the soothsayer. I don't know what the hell about the Dolphins. Who knows what to think about the Dolphins the last 20 years?
Who are these guys? That would be my... That would be my question. I mean, what exactly are we dealing with here?
It's funny. I'll be working at the restaurant, and I'll tell people, I work for the Jeff DeForest show or whatever, and they say, oh, so how are the Dolphins going to do this year? I don't know how the Dolphins are going to do. Usually the first question, though, when you mention that in that fashion is, DeFo's still alive? What station is he on? We're on SportsStreamNetwork.com. We know that. You can see it. There's physical evidence that we're still doing this. And, of course, if you're just listening, 940 Winz Miami Sports. Our main source here, our main squeeze, and we are the home for Marlins baseball. And later on, the Marlins back in action. I didn't realize it. It took me a while to catch up with the fact they lost those last two games to the Cubs, huh? Perchance to dream, it wasn't exactly Shakespearean, the finish of the last month and the halfway point of the season. They still went 4-2. They got the sweep at home, then they lost
but the Giants,
to the Cubs.
They can't get out of their own way right now. They're peeing in their pants every time they take the field. They've lost 7 in a row, including that sweeperoo by the Marlins. 866-801-0940 on the phone lines. If you'd like to join us here on the show. Level of stupidity. I don't know that you can throw Ryan McElroy in there in terms of being stupid. This started a long time ago. We'll discuss that when we come back on 940 Winz Miami Sports. Also streaming live, SportsStreamNetwork.com. Jeff DeForest with you. Mike Lubie Lubitz and Chris. They're working the back room there. And, of course, we got Todd and Jory, and they're wondering what the hell they're doing here with SportsStreamNetwork.com. Back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:01.
WINC, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We got game. All of them. 940 Winz, an iHeart radio station. And now your freaking Florida sports update.
It's Manny Munoz. Florida State freshman quarterback DeAndre Johnson's been thrown off the team following the release of a video showing him punching a woman at a bar. The quarterback had already been suspended after the June 24th assault. Your Miami Marlins get back to action tonight, visiting Boston. Our coverage gets underway at 6:40. Sunday's FIFA Women's World Cup final, which saw the U.S. ladies beat Japan 5-2, was the most-watched soccer match in U.S. history. The game drew ratings similar to those for Game 6 of last month's NBA Finals and the final game of last year's World Series. 25.4 million viewers was how many tuned in, crushing the previous high set last year of 18.2 million in a U.S.-Portugal match in the Men's World Cup. And Rory McIlroy looks to be out of next week's British Open after rupturing a ligament in his left ankle over the weekend. Playing soccer, he says he'll assess the severity of the injury before making a decision. This is 940 Winz Miami Sports.
Live from Miami's Magic City Casino Traffic Center.
The The car fire on the Palmetto Expressway.
A minute and a half.
The road now off to the side. The problem, it's still stop and go from Miami Lakes Drive around the big curve. You might actually want to stick with the Turnpike extension to head east right now. No issues in Broward County on any of those major roadways. I'm Erica Del Sordo for breaking news, traffic, and severe weather. Depend on News Radio 610 WIOD.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Ever wonder where your charitable donations are really going? At Unbound, you'll know who you're helping and what impact your support is having on their life. That's just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org.
From any perspective, in any ballpark, the best seat in the house is here.
Ozuna the throw to the plate.
940 Winz.
Right is out at the plate.
Miami
Ozuna
sports.
Throws out the tying man for the second out of the eighth.
A season ticket to Marlins baseball.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Showers, even a few thunderstorms contained in the morning hours. Best chance until about 10 o'clock this morning. Afternoon, hazy sunshine, steam heat. Highs in the low 90s, feeling like the hundreds. That's your forecast from 610 WIOD.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Wasn't Abby Wambach on the team in like 1906? She broke in with Babe Dietrichs and Zaharias, did she not? I mean, this woman's been on the women's international team forever.
I beat China all the time.
I'm listening to a bunch of analysis. I think they had a panel on ESPN that included Herm Edwards and Caitlyn Jenner.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
I don't know. Lubie is the Dellavedova of local radio. I don't know. Can you sense that from just your experience with him?
I can. He's your hard hitter. He's the guy you bring in to change up the show. And
yeah.
If you create a few fouls, it's okay. It's Lubie. We'll let that go. I get it.
The time. Wake up with DeFo, joined by Lubie and Chris, here on 940 Winz Miami Sports.
I don't want to go to school. I just want to break the rules. Boys and girls across the world, put it on our dancing shoes. Go into the discotheque, get it and getting wrecked. I don't want to go to school. I just want to break the rules. I don't want to go to school.
Fine Tuesday morning to be with you. Jeff DeForest back with you at 940 Winz Miami Sports. This is our home. We feel good about being here. Take you up until 10 o'clock. I'm telling you, outside of a little sleep deprivation, it's a bad gig and all. We got Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Chris working in the back room here. We're streaming live video on SportsStreamNetwork.com. A new venture started last week, and meeting which is gargantuan success so far. Our two guys, Jory and Todd, working very hard. I keep trying to talk them into not having to show up every day, just showing us the ropes here, and they keep saying, "Oh no, this is what we do. We love it." And I'm thinking, I'm the same guy that had to talk myself into getting out of bed this morning. But once here, it's just absolutely fantastic, and it's good to have you with us here for the show. You can dial us up at 866-801-0940 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines, 866-801-0940 if you'd like to join us on the program. Many things happening, although, as I said, the burning question around town seems to be, what do you think the Dolphins are going to do? And I hate to cheat my way into that category of sports conversation this early on, because we're still like, 2-3 weeks from training camp opening up.
How many days till kickoff? That's what I keep asking myself. How many days till kickoff?